this video, we're going to look at Phalakasana, which is plank pose. So when you're in the gym, you'll see people doing planks all the time. And they're sort of a variation of the yoga plank. The yoga plank uses the straight arm first and foremost. So it's designed to work your core, as what everyone tells you to do. But really it works your upper arms and shoulders as well, because you have to be almost in a press-up position is where you are. So there's lots of happening. So even though people think it's just for your core, it's not. It's building the strength in the upper arms and the shoulders as well. Okay, so we're going to run through a very basic way of showing you how to get into the position and little things that will help the posture itself. So for plank, we have to come to the floor. So we're going to do our forward fold, fingertips, and then I'm going to come down, which is easier, just onto one knee and then the other. So we come to all fours first, because this makes it much easier to begin with. So my fingers are spread. My middle finger is pointing directly forward. So the reason why we spread our fingers when we hit the floor is that if your hands are together, there's not as much stability. But if we spread our fingers, there's much more stability in the hands, okay, and which will lead up into the shoulders. So when we get to here, the first thing we're going to do is, if you look at my elbows, I bend my elbows to the side. I'm going to bring my elbows in behind, so that now when I bend my elbow, it's like a flamingo's leg. Okay, so this works. This makes it a little bit harder because you're going to work mainly the triceps when we do this, but it sets us up for other postures like chaturanga, where we come down and hit the floor and do things like that. So we're setting up the hand positioning to give us stability. We roll the elbows behind, and what this does is it actually helps to lock the shoulders in place when we're in this position. So we just practice from here. Spread the fingers, rotate the elbows, relax the shoulders. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to engage my tummy. So I'm just tightening my tummy and pulling it up slightly. And then I'm going to take my left leg and I'm just going to stretch. So this is a lovely calf stretch. This is the way I like to stretch my calves when I'm at home. So my hands are still working, my shoulders are working, my core is engaged, and there's a little stretch onto my calf. Do the same on the other side, just to warm it up. So pushing into the hands, my core is engaged, and I'm just gently pushing back, puts a little length onto the calf muscle from here. The next stage from here is I'm going to curl the other toes under, and then with my tummy engaged, I'm just going to push through the hands and just lift the knee up, bring it back down, bring it back to center. Okay, I'm going to do the same on the other side. Take the other leg out. I'm pushing through the hands, rotating my elbows, locking my shoulders, engaging my core, curl the right toes under, push into the hands, keep the tummy working, and just lift the knee, bring it back down. And in between these, you can bring the elbows down and you can take a rest in between. Don't try and force everything and try and make it like a HIIT exercise. Take your time, relax, bring it back into the position. Spread the fingers, rotate the elbows, engage your core. And this time we'll go for a full plank. If you feel ready, I'm going to take my left leg out, get that little stretch. My core is working. Curl the other toes under. I'm going to lift that right knee, and then I can just slide that leg back into my plank position. Bring it back down and relax. So when you're in plank, when you're up into plank, the main things that go wrong are people end up sort of here, which is more like an upward dog. And we let that. We want to keep the back straight and the bum in line when we do this. Okay, so we don't want them to drop, and we don't want the hips to drop, which tends to happen quite a lot. Usually because it's really hard and their cores are weak. They disengage the core, and maybe their arms are not strong enough. So we end up being in this position that's not a plank. So again, spread the fingers, rotate the elbows, Take one leg out, so I'm taking my left leg out here, curl the right toes under. We push into the hands, engage the core, and we lift that right knee. And if it feels comfortable, we can just step back into our plank. So keep that, see the way my tummy is coming in? Keep the tummy engaged. Pull it up, keep the back straight. Bring it back down. Bring it back to center. So that's the plank that we use in yoga. What you see in the gyms as a variation of that is when we get to here. And the reason why we do this, it can make it a little bit easier, is if your wrists are giving you a bit of problem or sore, we can then come down onto the forearms and we do our plank from here. So this is just a variation, and it also helps to relax the wrists. Bring it back down. And then bring it back to your all fours. So just remember, in between each one, take a break. You don't have to try and hold it for 3 and 4 minutes at the beginning, because you won't. Just try it for maybe 1 second, 2 seconds at a time. Have a rest, have another go again. So one more time, just so that you can get the structure. Spread the fingers, rotate your elbows, relax the shoulders, engage your core. Take your left leg out, get that little stretch in the calf. Curl the right toes under, we push into the hands, we engage, pull up the tummy and lift the knee. And then we slide back into our plank position. And then when you're ready, you can just bring one knee and then the other knee, and then take a breather and relax. So this is our plank posture, Phalakasana.